So, you're an international student in China. You're probably thinking about a lot of things. Classes, food, travel, and maybe, just maybe, dating. But let's be real, it can be one of the most exciting and honestly one of the most confusing parts of the whole experience. It's like there's this secret world of unwritten rules and social cues, and it can feel like you're trying to learn a whole new language on top of Mandarin. Okay, let me tell you this story from the article we're looking at. Picture this, an international student gets invited by a classmate to have a meal together sometime. She says yes, great, and then crickets. Weeks go by, nothing. She finally finds out he was actually waiting for her to follow up. So what happened? Well, in his mind, just asking her out was the first move. That was it. And that one little moment, it just perfectly captures this huge cultural gap that we're going to dive into.
And yeah, that's exactly why we're here. Think of this as the manual they just don't hand you at orientation. This is your guide to all those social rules of dating on a Chinese campus that, for some reason, nobody ever actually writes down. All right, let's get into it. So, where do we even begin? Before we talk about what a first date looks like or the whole who pays debate, there is one core idea, one foundational concept that once you get it, I promise, everything else just clicks into place. And here it is. China is what we call a high-context culture. This is the key. Seriously, if you remember one thing, make it this. It basically means that what is not said is often just as important, maybe even more important, than what is said. It's all about implication, tone, and what's understood between the lines, not just the literal words.
So what does that actually look like? Well, let's take saying no. In a low-context culture, you might just say, "No, I'm not interested, thanks." It's direct. But in a high-context culture, a blunt no can feel kind of harsh. So instead, you're much more likely to hear things like, "Oh, I'm quite busy lately," or "Let me check my schedule." And listen up, because this is crucial. 99% of the time, that means no. Trust me, if they're interested, they'll find a way to make time.
Now, it's really important to get this straight. This is not about being dishonest or leading someone on. It's actually a form of social grace. It's this social lubricant that lets everyone avoid embarrassment. It allows both people to save face and sidestep a really awkward direct rejection. It's all about keeping things harmonious. Okay, so now that we have that huge cultural foundation laid out, let's start building on it. Let's get into the practical stuff. How does a relationship actually unfold? What do those early dates even look like?
Right, so forget those big, dramatic, ask-out scenes from Hollywood movies. In China, interest often grows way more gradually, through super casual, low-pressure hangouts. We're talking grabbing a meal, getting some bubble tea, and just walking around, or even studying together in the library. These are things friends do all the time, right? And that's the point. It takes all the pressure off and just lets a connection build naturally. So yeah, a little patience goes a long way.
Which, of course, brings us to that classic, always slightly awkward moment. The bill arrives at the table. So, who pays?
Okay, the general rule here is actually pretty simple. Whoever did the inviting is usually expected to pay. It's seen as a really nice gesture of hospitality, of showing you're interested. But, and this is a big but, the other person is absolutely expected to reciprocate later on.
And this really gets to the heart of it. The goal isn't to split every single bill 50-50 down to the penny. It's about creating a feeling of mutual investment over time. It's a back and forth. You know, one person gets dinner tonight, the other person gets movie tickets or bubble tea next time. It's this little dance of reciprocity, not a transaction.
All right, let's wade into some deeper water now. We're going to talk about a few sensitive issues: keeping face and keeping the peace. This means public displays of affection and, maybe most importantly, how to navigate disagreements. So, when it comes to PDA, things are generally a bit more reserved on campus. Holding hands? Yeah, that's super common and totally fine. But anything more than that is usually saved for private spaces. And again, this isn't about being prudish or anything. It's just about a pretty clear cultural line between what's considered public and what's private.
And this leads us to maybe the single most important concept in all of Chinese social life, mianzi, or face. So what is it? Think of face as someone's social dignity, their reputation, their public self-esteem. Giving someone face is showing them respect. Causing them to lose face, well, that's a huge social mistake.
So, how does this play out in a relationship? It's simple. You handle disagreements privately, always. Things like arguing in front of your friends, raising your voice in a restaurant, or bringing up problems in front of other people, These things don't just create a little embarrassment, they cause a serious loss of face. And honestly, that can be way more damaging to the relationship than whatever you were arguing about in the first place.
So what's the right way to do it? Find a private moment, talk it through calmly, keep disagreements just between the two of you. Doing that shows a massive amount of respect for your partner and their dignity. And in the long run, that's what builds real trust and strengthens your relationship.
Phew. Okay, we have covered some big cultural ideas, so let's bring it all together. Let's wrap this up with a quick and practical dating toolkit. A few key things you can take away and start using immediately.
Okay, here's your 4-point summary. Number 1, master WeChat. Seriously, it's the center of the universe for communication. Number 2, give small gifts. Thoughtful little gestures, they carry so much weight. Number 3, don't rush the label. Just let the relationship grow naturally. And number 4, learn some Mandarin. Even just a little bit of effort goes such a long way and is always, always appreciated.
And that brings us to our final thought. You know, we've been talking about all of this in the context of dating. But these core ideas of face, of high-context communication, they apply to everything in China. So the real question to leave you with is this. How can understanding all of this improve all of your relationships, not just the romantic ones? Think about your friends, your classmates, your future colleagues. Because honestly, mastering this stuff is a skill that will open more doors for you than you can even imagine.